One of the greatest parts about my life right now is my relationship. My life that I've created and that I've made with Maria, and it's beautiful. It's amazing, man. It's one of the best things. Like, I am solely with her for this phase in my life. I don't know what's going to happen. We talk a lot about experimenting with different stuff, but we've both lived that life for a long time and we wanted to be monogamous with each other. But that's one of the greatest achievements, one of the greatest achievements. But where that comes from was very difficult. And I chose it. I chose it a long time ago and I worked very hard at it. But that being said, where that comes from was actually me living in the experience of, man, a lot of different variations of relationships. There was a question that came on our Austin Men's Development Board, and it has to do with a guy's girlfriend pushing his buttons. And this shit happens, man. And we hear a lot of advice coming from the men's development industry, the pickup industry, whatever other industries giving advice about relationships, because all of them do, even the fitness industry, feminism, whatever girl groups. But very little of that comes from reality. And that's what you need. You need that to come from reality. And the beautiful thing about this board is there's a lot of guys who've, they've been divorced, they've had relationships, they've fallen in love, they've given everything they had and it didn't work out, or they got burned and all those sorts of things, or they haven't had that experience of going out there and getting it. When you have that, man, you can make some pretty awesome magic. But when you don't have that, it's just a bunch of theoretical bullshit. Okay, you got to have a men's group. You got to have a good men's group. But I want to digress a little bit back about my history. See, when I got involved in pickup, I really believed that these guys were doing this. I believed that they had that alpha frame, or that when a girl stepped on your toes that you were dating, you could confront her, or you could be a certain presence and she would follow. And this was, like 10, 11 years ago. And that's what it would be, man. But there was also a lot of dysfunction that was in it, a lot of not knowing what happened. And as a result, I got to experiment with a lot of things, also cause a lot of damage, but I learned a whole lot. Okay. And I want to actually step into this mindset where, my relationship now, with Maria and our family, I compromise myself all the time for her. Why? Because I love her, because she is my woman and she compromises herself for me. But the most important thing is that we live together. If we have a problem where I'm hurt or she is hurt, it is our most important thing to work that out, even if we're mad at each other, even if we hit with the low blows, which actually rarely happens, even if, there's something where it seems so, impending and terrible that it isn't going to change, that the most important thing is not my well-being, is not her well-being, it's our well-being. And that's very difficult when I'm not taken care of. That's very difficult when she's not taken care of. So we got to make that all work, right? We got to make that all work. And that's an important thing. That was a decision I made. Okay. That was a decision I made probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And it took me a long time to get there. And it came out of pain. But let me tell you where this came from. Okay. Where this came from was for years, literally hundreds of women. And this was actually kind of the question. It's like when my chick steps on my toes, or she pushes my buttons, or she says some things which are fucked up. What do I do? The men's development industry says this is what I should do. Well, here's what I did. And I know very few people who did it. I know a lot of people who talk about it, but I can tell you exactly what will happen. And I can predict it like that. In a way, it's awesome, but you'll also never have a beneficial relationship from this. And the sad part is you never hear men talking about this. Why? Because I assume they haven't done it. But man, if a girl that I was dating, stepped on my shoes or stepped on my toes or said, and we'll get into some of the things that, this girl said, and what women kind of hit on tends to be very consistent when they get pissed off, man. And shit, it's not because they're bad people. If we're men who love women, we got to learn how to deal with this shit, man. And sometimes all you can do is talk shit about it. You got to let it pass. You got to let your mind calm down and your emotions calm down. And move in the better direction. Sometimes she's got to lead the way. Sometimes you got to lead the way, but both of you guys are leading the way for your beneficial thing. But man, if a girl stepped on my toes, I can't tell you, man, hundreds of times, it's like, oh my God, you don't even care about us, blah, 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 blah. And if it just hit that line, I stopped getting dramatic. I stopped arguing. I stopped yelling back. And I just said, you know what? Fucking get out of here, man. Or I'm gone. I'm gone or you're gone, whatever situation I was in. If I was at her place, I'm gone. If she was at my place, get out. There's the door. And I would hit it hard, man. I'd be like, man, get out of here. Go find someone else. Go do it. See if you're good enough. See what happens. And when you find out you're not good enough and you come back, that door is still going to be closed. So take some time and fucking think about it. Either I'm walking or you're walking, and get the fuck out. And man, I lived that life. You know what happens when that happens? Man, I could time it just like a fucking clock, man. I'd be texting all my friends. I'd say, Melissa said this and that, or whoever said this and that. And how many hours do you think it'll be till she comes back? And man, it can turn into all these crazy things, all these crazy things, man. If it was a highly sexual relationship or I found out some girl was fucking some other dude, it's like, go do it. Go do it. Fuck whoever you want. Go do it. Because you know what? Their dick isn't going to be as good as mine. And if that's all your pussy's worth, what you're getting, man, you fucking hate yourself. Get the fuck out of here. I'd cut it the fuck off. And man, they would come back. But guess what? See, I lived that life. I could predict it. I could control that. I could own that. I could know exactly that if I sent that chick away, she'd be fucking back and she'd be loyal to me, man. She'd be fucking loyal. Years later, she'd be loyal. She'd be dating some guy. He'd beat the shit out of her. She'd call me up and say like, hey, man, I need your help. You're the only guy that cared for me, the only guy that knew what was up. You regulated me, blah, 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 blah. And you could look at that and go, man, fuck, that's some power. But here's where that got me. Okay. And I want to talk about this. I don't have any guilt about it. I don't have any shame about it. I don't feel bad about it. I think it's a great thing. I think that I had to make amends for a lot of things. I had to clean a lot of stuff up, and I'm still doing that if the people come my way. But the great thing about it is it caused me a lot of pain and confusion because I could get any fucking thing I wanted. Just think about this. Think about this, man. I was watching a guy's speech the other day. He was talking about if your life sucks, you got to do this. You always got to take the bull by the horns and yada, yada. And man, you do. But guess what? Sometimes you need to sit in your shit. Sometimes you need to draw it out. And actually, I know the guy who was making that movie. And he's just an immature dude searching for pussy like I was, man. Like I was. And a lot of people have been there. Something goes wrong in my life. Guess what? I could throw that chick away. I don't have to feel that pain. I don't have to work that out. I don't have to work out how I attracted that person in my life. I don't have to work out why I liked her, why I needed to have sex with her. I don't have to work out part of this like huge dysfunction of, man, like, why did I like that? Why did I say yes to that? Why, when I noticed maybe she was a little bit crazy or she noticed I was a little bit crazy, we liked each other more? And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but I'm saying I wasn't happy. So I have to go back and look and see when I'm talking about not being happy. And this is something that the pickup guru guys don't tell you about. And the fucked up thing is I'll keep it to myself, but I went through this. 2008, big moment for me, man, into 2009. And before that, but I just didn't know. I just was fucked up. I was like, oh my God, I heard I need a woman. I need the love. I need the affection. I need the attention. And, I got so good with women at that 2008 mark and that's when the abundance started happening. It was like, get the fuck out. Fuck you. Really? Man, no, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go fuck other people. Go out, get out of here. Go do that. And man, it would be crazy. That dude could fuck her, like give her 10 orgasms and I didn't even give her one and she would come back to me. It was control, man. So why did I need that control? Where did this get me? What did this do? You had everything on paper. I could travel the world, meet a girl, anywhere in the world within a week. I could have whatever I wanted. Orgies, multiple sex partners, living with women, all that sort of stuff. But how could that be flawed? And, I was actually getting to this. Sorry about that. But it's because that moment of tension, when it went wrong, when she said, fuck you, or I said, fuck you, or this wasn't good, I walked. And I got to go find another person to validate, what my life was all about. I just watched this jujitsu speech and it was like, if you're only focused on winning, you're never going to win. If you're always focused on getting that validation that you think is going to make you happy, the woman, the girl, the people liking you, the adoration, the money, any of those things, if you only go for that, you will never get it. You'll never fulfill yourself with that happiness. And man, I've seen it over and over again with myself, but then with other coaches who talk to me or guys who get mired down in the pickup scene, they'll never be happy. God, man, I was talking to my buddy the other night and he was like, God, it's just fucked up. I got to stop having sex. This guy's really good with women. I got to stop having sex with women. I got to stop. Can't happen. I'm done. I'm celibate. And I'm like, really? And he went all into like, I can't, work. I can't coach anymore. No more, and he works kind of in this industry and so on. So I can't, man, I feel bad about it. I'm like, no, there's no shame, man. There's a beauty to what your decision was to have sex and live this life. But there's also this part where you got to fix the shit in you. And man, I remember it. I did this inventory, went over it with my buddy Dave, and I started crying, man. I lost my shit. I didn't even expect it. I remember writing this stuff down. I'm like, this isn't that big of a deal. But I was talking about my ex-girlfriend because for a lot of my pickup career, I went out with a girl for 5 years and we had all sorts of different relationships. We had fucking all sorts of shit. She fucked other people. I fucked other people. I did a lot more than her. I was dating 4 or 5 girls at once in different countries and having them fly out and see me, all that sort of stuff. But all that did was distract me from focusing on me. And man, let me tell you something. I was talking with Dave and I was going over something and I was like, man, I'm afraid, I had women who would give all of themselves to me, everything. They would do anything, man. They would do anything just to be with me. And I had that with 4 girls at once. Like how much validation am I looking for, right? I've had that so many times in my life. But like it still didn't work. It still didn't work. And when a woman that I love is telling me she loves me just to do this and I can't do it, what the fuck? And we talked about all this stuff and he goes, so what are you going to do? I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I'm fucking single again. And there's this girl that I really like that I'm dating and she's not giving me whatever. I'm just going to go fuck a bunch of chicks. And he's like, dude, you always do that. And he said to me this, he said, look, dude, very few times has he gotten stern with me. He goes, look, man, this is the thing. If you want to be the man that you just talked about, you just wrote down your ideals of what you want to express to the world and share with it and you believe in it. But at the moment of pain, you say, fuck it, I'm going to do what feels good. At the moment of pain, you listen to pain and not your ideals and you say, fuck it, man, fuck you. You don't deserve to have those things. You don't deserve it. If you have an ideal and you're not willing to go through a little bit of embarrassment or a lot of embarrassment, humiliation, rejection, having everything fall apart. If your ideals aren't worth that, then what are you worth? You're a slave to your pain. And that's it, man. And you wonder because this whole fucking industry, anything, health, fitness, mentality, dating, it all sells you on the pain. You're alone, so you can't do shit. Man, you know what I learned from that? I learned, I have to fucking be alone. If I'm going to believe in love, if I'm going to believe that I can be a good person in a relationship when I never did it, I'm going to have to learn that fucking discipline. I did it, man. And I fucking did it. And the result of it is that I have a great fucking life with my woman. And sometimes we fight. And now we'll go into this because this gets into the question. The guy was like, my girlfriend said, oh, I could have gone with a guy that had, a fucking nice car and a lot of money and all this sort of shit or whatever it is. But when women get pissed, that's what they hit on. You've never done enough. You've never done enough for me emotionally. You never go out of your way for it. You've never done enough financially. You're not enough of a man. And to a man, that fucks with you. And the advice of other men is like, fuck it, suck it up. And you do. That's a part of it. You do have to do that. You have to say, hey, you know what? Fuck it, suck it up. Women are speaking a different language. They feel that. You got to alleviate that and all that sort of stuff. And then we get this other set of advice where it's like, well, you got to talk about it and work it out and you can communicate better. Yeah, but those high points, especially if I'm not taken care of and she's not taken care of, we're going to be stressed. And this has happened. Maria's like, fuck you. If our sex lives have dipped, we've been together for 4 years now, right? We have 2 kids. It's a lot of shit. And she's like, you know what? I could go get fucked by somebody else. Dude, that hurts. That fucking sucks. Guess what? If I argue with that, I lose because I buy into the bullshit. Not saying that she's dysfunctional, not saying that I'm dysfunctional, but we're dysfunctional. Or she says, you know what? The money's tight. Man, what the fuck? We can never get it right. Why can't you? And I'm the breadwinner, man. I'm the one pulling the weight here. She's starting her business, but I'm the one pulling the weight. And it's like, fuck. Jesus Christ, you don't respect what I do? I work my fucking ass off, blah, 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 blah. And I get in the argument. I lose. What I got to do is I got to shut the fuck up. I gotta leave, man. I can't feed the fucking bullshit. I can't feed the demon of the argument in front of me. I say, hey, I'm out of here. Think about whatever you're thinking. Whatever. I'm done. Even though I want to say stuff, even though she's mad, even though she's hurting and panicked, I gotta cut it. And the best thing she can do is when I'm saying that shit, man, da da da, fuck you, da 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 da, whatever I'm saying, she could probably tell you much better than me. She's got to cut it off. And we got to cool that down. Because when you're angry, you have to be right. And usually you aren't. Okay? An angry person is always right. It's not a good place to speak from. And we got to let that cool. And then afterwards, we got to say, hey, look, I'm stressed out about money. I'm stressed out about sex. I'm stressed out about the kids. I'm stressed out about work. I'm stressed out about whatever. Look, that wasn't the right way to talk to you. Or if we're addressing them, that's not the right way to talk in a relationship. And if we're having a relationship, we got to do it right. So are we in this together? We got to speak to each other when we can speak to each other. And man, I'll tell you this, and I say this a lot, and this comes from that experience. It was like just so many relationships where it was like, kick that motherfucker to the curb. Sometimes if that's in your life, that's what you got to do. And there's going to be a point that is going to be very, very clear in all of your relationships where it's like, do I want this or do I not? And that choice, and this is hard, man, because I couldn't make this choice. The choice was in front of me, but it was hard to make. Why? Because it's like, we're not. I get the not category. This person's fucked up. But wait a minute. We have kids, we have something together, we have money, we have these experiences, we have this image. No, fuck it. If you're not, you're not. And as a man, that's the best thing you could make is a choice. And if you are, well, wait a minute, we don't have money, we don't have these things, we need to da 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 da, but it's so much better on the other side of the street. Am I or am I not? I couldn't make that decision until I had a lot of experience to speak from. Okay. And for me, I think it was an abnormal amount of experience. I think it was ridiculous. I caused a lot of damage. I caused a lot of problems that weren't fun, but hey, they built character in me. Going back and fixing those problems that I have worked on, going back and amending those different relationships that those things have happened. They made me a better man. They made me realize how important it was to make those decisions. But look, relationships, it's a complex fucking thing. But if you're in one, define what it is. Is it casual? Do we care about each other? Are we talking to each other as we value? And those are rules that you guys make. I don't make the rules for you. But you got to stand up for yourself. And if you want it, do it. And if not, not. And one of the reasons why, I'll end it with this, why I started Austin Men's Development. Why? Because one of the best things, one of the things that I needed absolutely hands down, fucking like necessity for me. As soon as I started my relationship with Maria after about a year, I needed other guys who had fucked a lot of chicks, had a lot of experience with women, who also like to fucking get dirty, who like to fight, who like to be aggressive, who have that sort of vibe. And I'm not saying that to you, who are also married. Because we'd get around, we'd talk a bunch of shit and just be like, man, fucking this sucks. She said this, I don't even know what to say, and blah, 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 and it sucks. And that helped me so much just to regulate and find an answer. Find your group, find your people, talk some shit. Sometimes that's the only thing you can do. But at the end of the day, if you're not living the life that you want, fuck it, cut it out. And don't be a dumbass with that and just run from your pain. Don't be a dumbass and just go, oh, don't not put yourself in check. If you run from something, own that motherfucker. You got to look at yourself. You got to grow from that, and you got to build the real fucking empire of what your life and your being is, and all of that glory in its total expression, not just society's expression, but your expression, man. Pain is one of the greatest teachers. It shows us where the problem is, but it shows us also that the solution is probably on the opposite end on that, not where we think it is. Anyway, enough talking. I'm out. Later.